Just when I thought I'd relive the Frieza and Cell sagas enough times to last me 3 lifetimes, in flies Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. The very first Dragon Ball Z game to drop on the PlayStation 3, next gen at the time. And wow, it made one hell of a first impression. And if there's one specific thing about the game that stayed burned into my memory since childhood, it's how good that this game looks. No joke, this was the first time that I sat back, looked at the cutscenes, and thought, wait, this might actually look better than the anime. And you know what? Even today, these visuals still hold up remarkably well. There's just something about the way Burst Limit shines. The lighting, the shading, the animations, it's fucking gorgeous. And the combat, honestly, it slaps. It clearly pulls inspiration from the Budokai series, but adds a bit of its own flair. Each character has a unique feel, even in the way they throw a punch or launch a kick. It feels like a step up from the PS2 games, leading just a little bit towards what FighterZ would eventually perfect, though not quite at that level. Now the roster, yeah. Here's where things take a little bit of a hit. Coming off the absolute madness that was Tenkaichi 3's 100 plus characters, Burst Limit feels limited. Even characters like Dodoria, Zarbon, or even Android 19 who were in the original Budokai are nowhere to be found. Instead, we get Bardock and Broly, which, okay, that's pretty damn cool. But it does feel like the game's budget was poured mostly into visuals first and everything else second. Not necessarily a bad call per se, but it does certainly show. But even still, with some of these flaws that I've mentioned, the game still definitely deserved a sequel. Because what really sold the experience of Burst Limit, beyond the visuals and even the combat, was its unique presentation. This game oozes style, from menus to the versus screens to how each battle opens with a slick little cinematic shot. It really felt like you were stepping foot into the anime. And speaking of anime, the sound design. Oh man, Burst Limit really might have one of the best soundtracks in any Dragon Ball game. It didn't use the classic Bruce Falconer or Kikuchi scores, but instead delivered its own high energy tracks with that late 2000s rock electro feel. And some tracks absolutely shred, like that character select theme, so fucking fire. Like I said, it's the kind of music that made even flipping through the character roster feel so hype. Voice work was another highlight, at least for the English dub. The original Funimation cast certainly brought their A game, and the delivery during cutscenes felt more polished than usual.
Ready for some more?
But there was a catch. Because of Burst Limit's early HD era release, there were weird moments where the lips wouldn't sync perfectly or lines felt slightly off timing.
Oh my! What a pleasant surprise!
Not game-breaking per se, but certainly a little bit jarring for some. Also, something that gets overlooked, this was the first time a DBZ game hit the 7th generation of consoles. For a lot of fans, this was their very first time seeing Goku rendered in HD. The first time those iconic energy blasts felt truly explosive on screen. It was absolutely a turning point for the franchise. And while later games do improve upon the formula, like Raging Blasts or FighterZ, Burst Limit set the tone. It was a glimpse of what a Dragon Ball game could look like on more powerful hardware, and even now, again, it holds up surprisingly well. But with all that being said, that even further begs the question, where is Burst Limit 2? I mean, there's a Raging Blast 2, a Xenoverse 2, Budokai 2. There's a sequel to almost every console DBZ game that sold relatively well. But anyway, let's talk about Z Chronicles, the story mode. It's not that bad. In fact, I really do like the layout. It's sleek, clean, and stylish. And the cutscenes? Chef's kiss. Some of the best in the franchise, period. But this mode gives serious Budokai 1 vibes, in both good and less good ways. Why? Because it stops at the Cell Saga. No Buu Saga, no Gotenks, no Vegito, nada. And for many fans, including myself, that in its own was a major letdown. And the roster reflects this too, skipping over key players like the majority of the Ginyu Force, Mega Frieza, and yeah, Android 19, which has a really relevant moment to the series in that fight, so I just don't understand why. Still, once you finish the main story, you do unlock short campaigns for Bardock and Broly, which are honestly pretty dope, and they give the game a bit of a second wind. But now here's where things get a little bit weird. Drama pieces. These are mid-battle cutscenes that trigger when you meet certain conditions, like landing a big hit or dodging at the right time. Sometimes they're cool little nods to the anime, and other times they interrupt the fight, like someone unplugged the controller mid-combo. And then there's the partner system, where a second character jumps in mid-fight to do a quick hit or assist. Neat idea, but again, it really breaks the flow of the game, at least for me. Let me know what you guys think. Pair that with the cinematic clashes that knock opponents across the screen, and the action can feel a bit choppy. Not as bad as Dragon Rush from Budokai 3, but still not entirely seamless. That said, the ultimate attacks are absolutely fire. Some of the cleanest, most stylish super moves in any DBZ game. They feel like a fusion of Budokai's cinematic flair with next-gen power. And when you land one, it's like watching a mini movie explode onto your screen. Oh my god. Goku's Spirit Bomb gives me absolute chills. Frieza's Death Ball looks like he's about to erase the entire console itself. And Cell's ultimate, that camera spin, the energy charge up, the boom. It's cinematic as hell, and these moves aren't just flashy, they feel powerful. Like the game wants you to sit back and watch the devastation that you just caused. They're also a reminder, while this may not have had the world's biggest roster, by any means, when it hits, it still hits hard. And honestly, I might like them better than any other DBZ game's rendition of these. Might. Don't quote me on that, I still have quite a bit of games to review. Outside of Z Chronicles though, is where we get into even worse territory. It's pretty slim pickings. You've got versus, tutorial, and a trial mode, which includes survival, time attack, and like a high score challenge based mode. No world tournament, no character unlock grind, no what if sagas, aside from Broly and Bardock if you include those. And I mean, it's fine, but coming off the content buffet that was Tenkaichi or even Budokai 3, it's a little bit tight. I mean, online mode was there to fill in the gap, but unless you were grinding PvP, there just wasn't much to keep you coming back to the game post the 4-hour story mode. Still, despite all these shortcomings that I mentioned, I really did love revisiting Burst Limit. I hadn't touched on it since launch, and going back to it after nearly 2 decades reminded me why it blew my freaking mind as a kid, and honestly, it still kinda does. Those visuals are timeless, and the presentation is stylish as fuck. Not to mention again, the gameplay is pretty solid, just with a few stumbles here and there, but overall, it's a pretty nice short package. And man, could you guys imagine a Burst Limit 2? Continuing into the Boo Saga, refining the combat, expanding the roster? I mean, we almost got one. The ending of Burst Limit 1, or Burst Limit, even teases a Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Which, I mean, if that's not a cliffhanger, then I don't know what is. But here we are. What is it? 17 years later, 18 years later, and we're still waiting. Maybe one day. I mean, Tenkaichi 4 just dropped, so you never know, but I definitely wouldn't hold my breath. Alright, so Burst Limit, final score, 8 out of 10. Beautiful, flashy, fun, if slightly shallow entry into the DragonBallZ legacy. But hey man, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button. Leave a comment below on if you did play Burst Limit, if you enjoyed it, and what other videos I should make next. I have a few coming up which are really cool. I hope you guys are excited for those as I am. But if you haven't yet, subscribe. Hitting 3K subscribers soon, I really hope. And if you want to support the channel even further, make sure to join the membership program where you get the badge and the video about a day or so early, depending on when I do finish it up. But anyway guys, thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate every single one of you. See you guys next time. Peace.
All that's left is the planet itself. I'm going to destroy this pitiful universe.